Hey, welcome to Try Stuff Tuesdays. I'm Jeremy, I'm your host. We're going to try some stuff. First and foremost, just so you know, our next event, Trivia Night of the Living Dead. I'm pretty stoked about this one. We're going to be back here on Thursday with a trivia contest all about the classic 1968 George A. Romero sort of zombie protogenitor Night of the Living Dead. We'll have a bunch of trivia questions based off the film, and it's going to be a great time, so make sure to join us for that. But now, we're going to get into, let's see what our project's going to be for today. And the fun thing is, I really don't know what to do. So let me bring in the old broadcast software, show everybody. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking here, looking over at the right monitor, and I'll swap these out for everybody. I'm looking here at some of these drone shots, seeing if I can maybe get inspired by some of that. So, oh hey, speaking of which, I got all kinds of merch. Check all this stuff out. We got cool film sprint merch, making neat stuff. Maybe in a future Try Stuff Tuesday we'll make a merch design, but I'm not feeling like that today. We gotta find something that feels good, that makes sense, and if you got a suggestion, drop one in the chat. That's always good to have, good to hear, and so on and so forth. So, and this is also our first time trying live streaming both on YouTube and Twitch at the same time, so excited to see what comes of that. I'll be trying to keep an eye on both chats, ideally. We'll see if that that works. Trying new stuff. That's what Try Stuff Tuesdays is all about. Putting yourself out there. Who knows if it's going to work? That's what we're here for. Glad to have you with us on YouTube, on Twitch, wherever you're watching. At any rate, I'm thinking maybe a motion graphic that tracks with a drone shot. We could learn some 3D tracking techniques. And by we, I mean me, because I really don't know how to do those. I've done a little bit of them. I know a little bit about how the After Effects motion tracker works, but I really don't know very much about how to actually practically do 3D tracking with movement. So let's see. Who's to say? Are any of these clips lighting your world on fire? If you've got an idea of something you'd like to see tried, whether on this Tuesday or a future Tuesday, just let me know in the chat. That's where I'm trying to hear is just what y'all know, what do y'all see, and what's going on with you. Oh, just got a personal story, something you want to share, that's fine too. Whatever's clever. I'm glad to have y'all here. I'm glad to be here with everybody, watching in the chat, and so on and so forth. Well, I'm looking at this drone footage, you know, trying to get inspired. That's the thing. You know, this was always the challenge for me, making like real material and things like that didn't have a purpose. So to be honest, part of the reason for me that I had really wanted to get into the old Try Stuff Tuesday was to try to get past that block, you know, make stuff just to make stuff. And I'm looking at this footage of the cows running. That's kind of interesting to me. It's a long shot, so that's kind of cool. Maybe we can figure out a nice long track with that. We'll just download that in HD. That's nice. Got this nice autumn sunset. This, like, just looking at this shot, I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. Let's see. It's a nice day. You may be hearing extra background noise off my microphone because I got the doors in the open. It's during the day. You might hear my dog running around. Hey, right on cue. Maybe hearing her in the background a little bit, but that's just the kind of day it is. Good time. Oh, what do we got here with the old LA drone time lapse? Kind of like this, it's, you know, it's the lighting kind of stays consistent throughout it. I'm interested in this. I'll download this as well. This is Storyblocks, very valuable stock library, stock footage, stock music, After Effects templates. If you're in a bind and just want something to throw together real quick, they got a lot of useful tools and tips and so forth. Check them out. All right, let's see what do we got here. We're still waiting on these downloads. Sorry, everybody, that my internet is slow, and if my buffering, if my level of bandwidth, like I believe I just did, sorry about that as well. Going a little cute and fake. I like that. Giant flying saucer. This is what I'm talking about. This is what we want to see. Giant flying saucer hovering over the town. Alright, we're getting somewhere here. Yeah, once again. Look at that. Big Deming Energy. Get yourself a shirt. Yourself a Bark Ruffalo poster. What are you doing not owning one? Links. There's links around here. You can find them. I trust you. Not everything. I'm not gonna make everything easy for you. You figure it out yourself. Ooh, I like that too. That's very ominous. Batman looking. I also got a few new plugins and a plugin that I haven't used in a while that we might mess around with today. Truly still very in progress with all this. I don't have a clear outcome in mind even at this point, which is fine, you know. Oh, this looks like it's the same thing, doesn't it? Probably is. Hey, did I mention you get this cool shirt too? Keys the Heist thing. Whoa, it's so neat. Look at all these colors. Alright. Got that very throbbing Spotify in the back. I like the snowboarder here. This is clever. That's cool. Feels like it'd be tricky to do. Okay, stop. Doing this one. Especially with the cool looking shadows and everything. Try to make something fit in that space. I'll throw that in. Take a look at something. Alright. So, let's open them out. Told I'm kind of grateful to not have any right now. Don't have an idea of what I'm doing. That's challenging. Oh, there's a duplicated effect. Oh. Okay, fix something real quick. Screen. I'll keep looking at cool sticker. Look at this sticker. I'm just working on this while y'all look at that. Alright, we're gonna try to reopen After Effects here and try this again. Just creating a little folder here off screen for projects such as it is. Put my footage in there so I'm all organized. And then also positions. So Gonna call this. Yeah, gonna call it Mess Around 323. And saying that I don't have any clear plan yet. All right, so we'll get our footage in here. What makes wink? Foggy. Nice foggy beach. I guess we'll call that. Foggy outcropping. This is a bridge. Oh. Okay. Never. Okay, so I'm pretty fascinated by this cows as we're moving forward, which makes me want to put something, say, here on this hill, like place it in 3D space as if it's above this hill, and then try to have the camera back to it and incorporate it so it gets bigger as we do it. Then we fly kind of as we reach the end. Maybe even have it almost depth-wise, like with this tree, so that as we get to the past it. Thing of it is, trick of it is that you know, you need to track kind of fixed points in the geometry for the tracking software to work well. And we have some of that here with like this tree, for example, or even with this background. But the trick of it is the contrast is really low. The difference between these pixels that are this tree and these pixels that are a tree 500 yards behind it are visually very similar. So the software might have trouble tracking it. But if we were to look at others, if we were to look at this one, for example, the contrast is much higher. The rocks are dark. The water behind them is very light. So even the murkier water still obviously is refractive and brighter. So that's kind of an interesting spot as well. I'm still trying to keep an eye on the chat. So if you have anything you'd like to see at any of these points based on what I'm talking about, holler, because I'm still making it up as I go along, and I love input. We got these outcroppings. This might be an interesting thing to track because the camera also sort of rotates in 3D space. So if we track these 3 points, or a point here, maybe it has to, you want it to still be in this space. So it's tough because yeah, this would be okay, but I mean, like, we can see it visually that it's a darker peak, but what's behind it for so much of the shot is, you know, tough to stay steady. Ways to get there, but I'm struggling. Well, maybe this white part right here on the corner. Also, here might be. So I'm gonna just try this. I mess with the tracker very much, as I said. But, you know, for those of you who aren't especially familiar with After Effects, if you take your single clip and you drag it onto this sequence button, it creates a sequence with the same name as your file. Got this here, file. You track the named file in the project. And now I have sequence here. separate from the rest of this is the tracker panel, and basically its job is to track motion in video and then render it into a series of keyframes that denote position, which you can then apply to other objects in your composition. The effect being that they can follow along with the motion in the video as if they are a literal part of the environment. So, as we look to the track motion, but it also has things like warp stabilizer, which have other uses. Warp stabilizer is helpful for steadying a shaky-handed or shaky camera kind of source. So track motion, track. I think perspective corner pin, I think, is what we're looking for. I think. Get out together. There you go. Null object that I can assign this information to. That'll help. Let's see what happens. I don't know what this does. I haven't tried it this way before, but I thought you needed to apply these pins. Maybe. Nothing. Yeah, nothing's come out of that. It doesn't seem to do anything for me. It does have good information. If I apply it to the null, what's going to happen? Little, but this kind of almost looks right already, so that makes you want to see what happens here. If I take this is very interesting. I'm going to take a moment and Google something. Never be afraid to Google, kids. Google motion tracker After Effects depth channel tracking that. Google stuff. I mean, don't be afraid to Google stuff. You know, that's kind of what it is. So, yeah. I'm kind of a scrubby reader. Find your own way to figure it out. Not the kind of way that I process information, so I like to just look around and see if I can figure it out. See if I can find the specific terms. I apologize if this is disorienting to you, gentle viewers. I know that not everybody consumes information in this way. So, well, this is interesting. Seems like it's a whole extra thing. Do planar tracking. Seems like it might be worth checking out at another time. I don't know. Ah, 3D camera tracker. tracker. I have the null data. Seems like it's floating too far right to left to be correct. Not road. So, I can't ride this one. I guess analyze the camera movement in the background. That's interesting. I want to see about just putting a piece of text somewhere between these this point here and this point here. Reminds me, I'm gonna take a moment here to embiggen my cursor for everyone again. That's been described as fairly helpful. Help folks see a little better. Yeah, between this rocky outcropping here and this rocky outcropping here, maybe this one, maybe somewhere in the middle of this space. I want to try to put an object and see if it'll work. It looks like we're now like tracking through this. Maybe this is, yeah, I guess it's going to create a camera that is going to move over other objects that I can put in 3D space on top of this video file, which will stay in 2D, so the camera moving will only apply to these 3D layers that I create. Here. And then I can put an object here in the middle, and it should track up into it, which is what we, or rather, it should at least appear like it's part of the shot. I feel like I kind of want that. A little tough because it's going away, but we don't mind that too much. Lots of ways to cool stuff. Maybe a shot that's overlaid in the water, kind of almost looking like it's below it, might be cool. That could be interesting. There. Solving camera. What a cool feature. I learned about something new just by Googling. Try it yourself, everybody. Google stuff. Learn new things. Okay, now I have all this data. That's pretty cool. I'm going to just say create camera, see what this does. Okay, now I got a 3D tracker camera. So, if I make a piece of text, it just says, hey gang, and I make it 3D, camera moves, it kind of tries to keep it in one space, which it definitely does. Like, the camera seems to be moving well, and it's hard, you know, given that we haven't placed this in space yet, it's a little trickier. I'm going to actually step back away from this, because though I like it, it's a little basic. So I'll create a new null object. That will be helpful to me in case I want to have another object replace this in the future. But I'll create a new null object. I'll make this one. Take a new null object here, make it 3-dimensional. And for this one, I want to mess with it just a bit. It's right away center here. But what I want is maybe a bit rotated. Here. Additionally. Oh. Piece of text. Up. I'm trying to remember how to think. Like. Pick whip. Pick whip. Oh, because I. Wait. probably because it was rough. And yeah. Aha, so now it's right where I wanted it. If I take other traits of this, like orientation. I take its orientation and I equipped that to the null as well. It will flatten out like this piece of text. And already, I mean, after not much time at all, this is looking pretty good here. I mean, that did not take more than 5 minutes yet somewhere. So I can move it around a little more now that I know. Move up. I can move. Has it floating a little closer? Which I kind of like. It's almost like it's not intentional. I think it's to do with the way that the tracker works, but it almost it's floating out to sea there. I kind of love it. Okay, I'm into this. I'm going to change this text, but I love this general position, so we're going to keep with that. I'm going to see. Let's take a new approach to this text. I don't want this very simple. I want this to be like a locator. Hey, here's where we are. So I'm going to take. We're gonna call this. For now, we'll call it Death Island. And we'll come up with some latitudes and longitudes. Like one. Oh, I need the degree symbol. You know, there's probably an easier way to do this, but I just do this degree symbol. Copy paste, baby. That's simple. Yeah. So I'll just paste that twice. And then go 3. North. I have no clue where that is. Take a moment to Google where that actually is. Alright, where are these? Where are these? Oh, it is in the middle of the ocean. Cool. Good times. Very good. Very good. Where are we at roughly? Out of curiosity. Oh, okay. Pretty cool. Off the coast of Colombia. I love it. That's fantastic. I didn't even mean for that to be the case. I picked a random spot. This doesn't look especially like, but you never know. All right, so then we'll mess with it some more here. Let's grab a better font. Maybe would be good for this. This doesn't seem appropriate for. Well, actually, if it was, I mean, it does look kind of map-ish, which I don't. But I just white. There's no contrast. Be a better way to go about this. How about use? I'm reluctant to use this because it's not free. It's not a free plugin, but I just love it so much, and I don't think I've really used it yet in any of these videos. I'm gonna use Element for this. I fucking love it. So pop Element onto here, and it lets you basically take shapes or text and put it into a 3D it extrudes it in 3D space. Yes. Now we have this three-dimensional shape that is made of the text, and now those kind of rugged edges look extra interesting with all this stuff. Now, the cool thing is we can take some of these materials. Oh, I actually have materials I need to install in this. We can take some of these materials and we can do stuff with them. Now that's currently not in a great spot, but we're gonna replace that momentarily. I'm actually gonna go off screen here and address the rest of this. Get these textures installed, and we'll be in good shape. So this is already looking like it's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, considering I had no clue what I was going to do when we started here, I'm pretty happy with where we're at this point, as you might imagine. Hey, download both these. Cool shapes. That'll be for another project. Hey, if I get this one done quick enough, I might try to show everybody one more thing. But the great thing about, you know, projects like this is that you can kind of just the way you can drop stuff out. I mean, this like track camera, that is really special. You know, the way that it's put together is really pretty cool. Like, well, that's clever. You can actually have it do this analysis. I mean, that's pretty spectacular. All right, so just still done packets, but actually, can actually quit project for a minute because I'll have to reinstall things on After Effects. So while that's happening, just don't forget to take a look at these stickers. They're pretty sweet. I mentioned we have stickers. Fabulous, useful. You can denote you have been somewhere. You can put it under the window of your favorite drive-through takeout window establishment sort of place. You know what I mean? Do that. Why don't you? Oh. Install in a few more things so everyone have a positive experience. That's the idea. What I'm adding are extra materials for Element to use. They came with the software when I originally bought it several years ago, but having just reinstalled After Effects, I have to reinstall these particular plugin and all the extra assets that come with it. So that's what's happening live right now. Isn't that fantastic? It's been, oh, we'd love to see it. All this money. Oh, hey, you know what else? You can get a cool fanny pack. They are the future. Check them out. Get a fanny pack. Look at all these colors. You can get one in dark. Look at the back of one in dark blue. I want to open it. You know, look at all the so many different colors. They all say Heist on them. You know, just roll with it. Why don't you? Yeah, all right. That off this. Okay, now everything's installed. That's great. All properly. Reopen After Effects. We'll jump back into it. All right, now we got this Death Island. So, first thing we can do is we can take here in this After Effects, actually take this group 1, which is this particle, and we can make a null. This null can then have its position pick whipped to the null that we started with. position from the null. Pick whip here. Here. Boink. Yep, now it's right. Same spot as the written text. Once I add the orientation, pick whip, then it'll duplicate that as well. Pretty neat. Pretty straightforward when it comes to assigning the shapes. Oh, yeah, I put this here. I think I had it. Text orientation. Oh. All right, let's try this one. You know what? To make life easier. Always free. All right, we got our position. We got our orientation. Take our pick whip. Boom. Position. We take our orientation. Boom, like that. Now it's not in the exact same location as the original text, but that's okay. We can shimmy it in there a little bit. We also had this piece was, yeah, repositioned a little from the finish. So we can slide it over a number of ways, but also let's just see how it looks with the camera. You know, we come up on this. You know, it's a little, it just feels a little stuck there because it's not quite, you know, you almost want it to to bob in the water or something looking at it like that. Let's turn off the other text so it's not too confusing. We can, now what we can do here is we can mess with it more in Element. So now that I have this kind of figured out, one thing I can do is I can just that actually will adjust the shape there. Also, make the scale of the whole thing in it a little. That'll be helpful. And then I'll actually slide it a little farther down on the model. Should have these Pro Shaders materials. That's what I want to see. Oh, I've got some organics in here. Like, I can see stone. I think that's going to be appropriate. How's that look? I mean, it's going to drift into the island. A little too big. I don't hate the idea. But I like that stone. Maybe something else. Not these. Maybe sand. Like kind of dirt. Dark gray sand. Still wanna. Well, not quite right. That's a get a little better. I almost want like camera's a little off too, where it's sliding around. Kind of makes you want to reanalyze this. If we can get it slightly. Oh. Detailed analysis. That's it. Alright, just gonna run it again with detailed analysis. This is an interesting aspect of this process for me because it's definitely new. I haven't tried this 3D tracking model. I understand a little bit about the general concept of sort of compositing kind of footage, and I think I might want to try to still make this look like it's underwater somehow by duplicating video layer and kind of laying it on top. Yeah, it's like a screen layer. Get that kind of the white of the video coming over the top. That might be a good. I'll try that as a first thought here. About 30 seconds when this is done rendering. For watching this, whether you're watching this now, later, or even if you're trying to figure out how we all got here. Obviously, this will be a key moment. Analysis. Solving camera. That's what we like to see. Almost there. All right. Create camera. So now we have our new 3D tracker camera. It does seem like things are moving a bit different. I think what was happening was that the tracker was grabbing the waves here. So that's interesting. I don't know what this is, but I'm fascinated. I clicked that. I don't know. Unclear. I don't know what I did, but I do. Fine. Sorry about that right now. But what I will do, so now I'll take this, I'm going to duplicate the layer, drag it up to the top, and then try some transfer modes here. If I do screen, for example, it does brighten everything a little. I probably need to turn the opacity down. But we're starting to get this impression that that's kind of stylish. It's because the water's there, it kind of looks a little like maybe it's not very much, if I'm being honest looking at it. Maybe I need to try different. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. A little bit of that. I'd probably almost want to add a little what's the word? Edit here. This I haven't messed with this thing I'm about to try here in a long time, so probably why it's not coming. I'm not remembering it. Display. That's it. Placement. Okay. No, I don't. This layer is. Wanted to do to give the shape like a slight warbly texture, like light being refracted from the wind. But by using the video layer as a source and saying look for the lightness, look for the look for, you know, I've kind of adjusted accordingly. It starts to look a little more real, where it's feels a little more like part of the environment. Don't want to mess with the lighting maybe a little bit. I'm actually pretty happy with this. most of how it's been. I might still try to play that null around. See how that works. I think that's gonna read a little better. Yeah, it does look like it's being kind of. I want it to get murkier as we get farther as well. Like it's not as clear. That one. Oh, hold on. Much, but interesting. Oh. Pretty interesting. How this looks. I mean, if it only played out at this speed, that'd be fabulous. Went away there. Oh. Excellent. Going. Oh, it's got something to do with this displacement. Do that this time. Place some map. Adjustment layer here. That on. That's really. That's terrible. Obviously, that's not. Okay. Well, I don't hate this. Especially when it kind of feels like it's. Going up and down at the. Your eyes kind of tricky there a little. Gonna do some Googling. No, I'm gonna try that turbulent displacement. Oh. Yeah. here. See what better. Dirt. Switch it up to some dirt. Love it. We can't change among other things. We can create the lighting.
Can I tell you a secret? Will you keep it to yourself? Let me tell
That's
you a secret. No, you'll
Tackle.
never believe it.
Oh, okay.
You can fight it all you want. You just have to receive it. And I promised I wouldn't. Yeah, I swore that I'd never tell. Nothing wrong with a little lie. We're just breathing and killing time. Got no reason to change our mind. Nothing wrong with a little lie. No one knows how we're doing till we're feeling fine. No one knows all the corners and the back row.
Oh,
Can I tell you a story? Can you keep it to yourself? Let me tell you a story. All the real happy endings, they don't live in fairy tales. It's the light in the morning.
the light on.
And I promise
Can't tell where the actual light source is
never ever tell.
in the world here.
We're just breathing and killing time. Reason to change our mind. Nothing wrong with a little lie. No one knows how we're doing till we're feeling fine. No one knows all the corners and the back row. No one knows how to love anymore.
Wait. I'm still should read this out. I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, for what it is, kind of a goofy little project. It's a fun little. Seem to be. Okay.
Earthbound, no doubt, steady as the night and day. Before you took me away, now I try to stay on solid ground, but the world is spinning upside down. Higher than the sky, you can't leave me darker than the night. 'Cause baby, I'll fall down 1,000 miles if you decide to end this ride and let me go. 'Cause you can't take me higher than the sky.
Kind of want to turn.
Hit a wall, I
Well,
copy every move you
have to
make
camera.
before I'm fading away. 'Cause you took me over by side. Now I'm caught within these blurry lines. Oh, don't let me down. Lift me up. Let me down. Lift me
Just plugging along. Camera settings. I'd like to get this where it's. Perfect. Zero. Oh wait, I've been messing with the wrong camera this whole time. That's hilarious. Let's try this again. Turn on depth of field. Working. Oh right, because it shouldn't. Not look correctly right. Broader aperture. So it'll. That's gonna. Totally out of focus. That's not what I want. That's too blurry. Too blurry. Aperture. What's happening there? That is. This. Turned. Oh, just through depth of. Oh yeah. That's. Oh, way too. Zero. Interesting. Alright, well now we may have made a whole effect. Yeah. I like this effect. I like how it looks. It looks like it's part of the water, part of the environment. Just want the text itself to look a little more substantial. We're really close though. So I think at this point, I mean, I really like how it's moving. I like how it's kind of part of the water. Just want this text to be bigger. I want it to be a little more impressive. And there, I mean, I'm really feeling good about where we're at. So, back into element here. Go into scene setup. We can mess around with this. First thing we can do is to have in the extrusion model multiple bevel copies. So what that does, it gives you different it gives you different, you can basically create layers of these shapes. Not fully. You know what, also speaking of which, let me pick up the geometry of that bad boy. Doing this UV, make that a little denser. So I could take maybe a darker stone and put it as the background there. That gives us extra. We want some more rounded edges, sides. Stick with that even though. Keep the big bevel. This is way better. Maybe a little less, but expand these edges even more so it still comes out around it. But I love that like brown quality get from it. Now when I hit count, already it's a little easier to see, to read. We can go into our original piece of text and we can adjust the character alignment a little, which is a good idea. Time. Take that text. There. Let's see. We can hold it. That'll probably help. We'll have we'll adjust these characters. Adjusting some tracking here. I'm digging this pretty. I think we're getting some weird shit going on with this shape though. Check it out a little more. Yeah, that's what happens sometimes when you extrude the edges too far. Is you get these weird like extra shapes. Or it'll just kind of poke out at you a little or whatever. Very strange. Unfortunate. Let's see if I can. The ways to get there. Maybe. And it works. I get why this happens. Sometimes it's one of the weirder qualities. And I like the shape how it is. We got the two copies. Spikes, I don't get it. Just be like spikes. No weird snags on the so. Spikes here. And why it gives us except if it's just fully off. I think it's just picking up little like chunks of the structure of things. Give 'em a look. Wait on this spike. That one's a problem. Still want it letters. Wait, got these spikes coming out of it and everything. I don't like that. I don't want that to happen, so. Maybe we need to. I don't. Maybe it's resolution on the path. Is that spikes? More spikes, which is up. Okay, I'm not getting any. Now did that EB? So I take this one, expand it just literally two. Okay. Broken anything? That's good. That's good. Now these spikes. Switch this font up. Okay, but I don't. Well, that was a problem. Just cleaning stuff up. Oh, I've been going for over an hour at this point. Not really. Like, here. Little spikes. I'm gonna take a quick pause here. Alright, we're back. This looks serviceable. I'm not seeing the spikes that were causing problems. Makes me feel a little safer about expanding these edges a little bit, which we have this back layer that's extruded a little less. We don't have any obvious spikes coming out there as I've expanded that. That's the whole goal here, is to just not have come out. So we put these could be. Oh, God, that's what. Alright, well. Got kind of a rim to it. Level. Curve. else is kind of alright. We want. Also, I go to this UV repeat that repeats how often the patterns are used. So if I use them more, it gives the project a little higher resolution. See, that's plenty high resolution enough for what we're doing. I got the little curve going there. Maybe for this one, I'd want to go inverse curve. Look a little. Not enough. Something like that one. Okay, pretty good. Pretty good for where we're at. Still, we could still move just some of this without start too far from. I don't hate this. I mean, it's not like it sits perfectly where I want it to the whole time, which is kind of the original goal, but it's something. It's interesting. And I'm gonna leave this one where it is for now. I want to try to get one more in before I call it a night here. I'll have a couple of cool pieces. Let's start a new project. I want to try these cows. Because now that I know how this motion tracker works, how this camera tracker works, I really want to see how getting to something really far away might work. So that's the goal here. Do some advanced stuff. Detailed analysis. Hide the boarding man already. So it's on to analyzing. I'm try doing something with cows. I'm having a fun time. I hope you are too. Still tracking. Like I said, I want to put something about here. Yeah. So that it like gets to. Or again, maybe a little closer so that it flies past it. We'll figure it out as we go. It's important to take breaks to stretch, shake out your hands, adjust your shoulders, try to do some stretches, keep that pressure off your neck. Go ahead and take the time. Put some cool filters on this. I mean, this footage is already so cool, but we'll get some. Actually, what's interesting is the camera tracking on this footage, but if I wanted to, I can go back to little story blocks here and get the 4K version of the video and use that camera potentially on the 4K footage. But that's another story for another time at this point. Still getting there. Almost loaded. Hey. hope this background music is actually royalty free. The last playlist I used said it was royalty free, and then turned out. It's all on track in here. Almost out of here. Let's create a camera. So now we got a camera. It's got all this motion. Pretty excited about it. So all the way up here. Let's see what happens if we make a piece of text that exists in three-dimensional space. And what was their effect? Might be interesting to just make a big giant. Oh, okay. Let's take home sprint footage and see about compositing it. 1 second, too. I don't know what the hell that's gonna look like flying over a bunch of cows, but try something. Let's try stuff Tuesdays. You dig? I've already put text on stuff before. I've never put video in a position. Let's see what we can find. I don't even know where we're going with this. All right. Maybe, yeah, this is too grainy. I'd love to use Darling Apple baskets, but it's a little too grainy. Another time for get you. All right, we're gonna. You know, looking at these videos, there's some stuff. I'm just worried about the amount of time it would take. I do have a limited amount. Unfortunately, I can't stay all night like we did the other night when I made lightsabers at the all until the wee hours. So let's just we need a name for this place. I don't know. There's the name of this indie band that the this is gonna be the motion cover for. What? I don't know. It actually ends up almost exactly where I wanted it, which is kind of amazing. Actually, the only thing I really want is for it to be at least here. So, what happens like from here? That's incredible. I mean, that looks really pretty spectacular right from the jump. As far as just the way that it's the way that it's compositing in, it really looks like it belongs in the space. It's moving with the camera. I mean, this is way easier for the camera to track than the last thing. This makes me really want to just take a create a null here and same position. We're pretty much where I want this as well. So try some other text. Try something different. Oh, what's this? It's a plug. Like a little our classic Helmsprint font for Homebound Anniversary. That's going to be, what's that called? Royal Acid. That's what it is. Royal Acid. And then we'll take another one. I'm actually going to make multiple. Here. We'll have one. Say. Time. Those are the pieces of. Also interested while this is happening. Going under the barrel. We're going down the barrel here, which I might just see if I got one here. Golden Gate. Can't see, but I am currently searching this. Good. Oh, it does. Some of this footage is familiar to me because I put it on because I used some of it making a sprint actually, some of this background footage. All right, so let's just do this. Make a few nulls throughout the process. Where well, you know, we'll just take this and make God. Start with that. And on there. Then we can make custom layers for each of these. Yep. We can go into scene setup and we can extrude them. Create 3 extrusion ones. Create 3. Group. Group. Then another new model. Change the sources. One, group 2, custom. You get where I'm going with it. Group 3. 400. Well, there we go. We got our layers here. Take some of these bevels, some of which have already been included, and just kind of drop them in there, see how they look. So, I like this wooden, I like it's all very green looking, so I kind of want to stick with that general approach. And I'm gonna come back out here and change up the shape of these decks. And you know, Homebane Anniversaries. The rest could be in my other classic font, Sophia Pro. More pieces. That's plenty of information. Almost too much, I'd say. But we'll get there. Right. So go back to the development here. Thing. Group 4. Oh. Got these extrusion models. Heavy. Okay. Of the drink this a little because it's big. The cool thing about Element is it just adjusts instantly to whatever changes to the text. So I'm gonna just take some extrusion models. I like this organic stuff, like the ground stuff. I'm gonna go with like grassy texture since we're kind of, well, it doesn't actually look great. I think it's since we're in this grassy and it actually looks pretty bad. So maybe just marble. That looks okay. I still want a little more on those C. Repeats. Gives extra. Off. It all ended up way out here. That's funny. Okay, so we're gonna make new spots for each of these. That's hilarious. So for each group, we're gonna create a null, and then we can just move that all around. That'll let us move those shapes without. I think our first null here, we can obviously move it way forward in position, but way closer to us. Getting a lot closer to the camera here. So it'll. What about here? Fly kind of right. But right. Okay. Then we want the next one. Actually, I think this. Look at it. So we'll move this one even. Get it right away. This, obviously, a lot of this is still preliminary, so. Oh. Homebound anniversary. Our next round here, our next will come in, and we are way, way back here in terms of space. I mean, we're moving through a ton of digital space here, so moving. Iron. Third group right here. Bring it up. Oh, color. Frame.
If the light turned off, could shadows be living, voices appearing?
Ah, could in there.
If the light turned off, if the light turned off, would your face be mere imagination? If the light turned off,
Here. Oh. You is just. Oh, thanks. How do you? I'm good with it. Alright, let's just see preliminarily what this looks like. I mean, it's it's a little jittery just 'cause the imperfection of the camera movement. But the motion blur, I think, would really help with that. We can turn on motion blur on this object, and that'll help considerably. Let's try. Yeah, the blur's helping a little, you know, to just hide the little like frame by frame jumpies where it's a little unresolved. It's pretty cool having the camera just move past it and we're just placing stuff in space. I mean, that's really gratifying. They'll just render it out here. I think. Let me actually see this brushing since it's coming together.
Every time we say goodbye, they all see that it's a lie. 'Cause we always give it one last try. Yeah, you've watched me break 1,000 times. Now I'm all alone, 'cause you never show. You say you will, but then you don't. That's how it goes. Don't wanna know. I'm turning off my mind so I get by. I just wanna be happy, happy tonight.
Well, I like this, but I'm gonna actually do. I'm gonna add another piece in here in this little cheat because I like this position. I'm gonna add one more piece of text here, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to change the. I'm gonna make this a fifth layer, a fifth object group in the element project, then just place it without replacing the 4. And then it doesn't. That up. We group 5 pattern. The custom path 5. Take nice. I want to add another here too, like these double bevels. So I think that's. I like this just fine. We'll have nice contrast. Maybe we can expand the edges on. Top. Top it. Kinda. That kind of get card quality. Pretty into that. Alright, so we have our groups here. Now what I can do is I can take this extrusion model, save it as a bevel preset. I will call mess around 323. Rock bev. Great. I can also then copy the bevel preset by all these other models. kind of have this look to. I like that I have this consistency. When I go now, look at the project. It'll have shapes, and it's nice because they kind of stay a little more out of focus. I might even then take this camera and add a little bit of depth of field to it so that we can see, you know, it's not quite as given away as it might be. It still looks pretty similar where everything's in focus. Oh, maybe I need to turn an element. That's possible. I'm gonna mute myself for a moment, but I'll continue working, so please watch along.
Got a party in my club, let's go round and round. Baby dollars ain't a problem, just drop to the ground. Just one call, it's all it take to pull up to my town. Too much posy, I ain't got no time to feel so down. Too much icy, I might fuck around and make her blind. Too much icy, I just glide, I don't walk around. Check the sky, that's my guy, yeah, he falling down. Now they coming running all up in my fucking sound. Fucking sound, 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 fucking sound. Now they coming running all up in my fucking sound. Fucking sound, fucking sound, fucking sound, fucking sound, fucking sound, fucking sound. Once again, flowing through my hands, yeah. Once again, money getting spent, yeah. All your fans just my flashing hands, yeah. She ain't shook, I got too much bands, yeah. Pop Montana just to feel less, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. She just wanna get a G-bless, hey, yeah, yeah. Rock designer and a headband, yeah, yeah. That's where I keep all my pills. Too much icy, I might fuck around and make her blind. Too much icy, I just glide, I don't walk around. Check the sky, that's my guy, yeah, he falling down. Now they coming running all up in my fucking sound.
So interestingly, when I originally laid out these groups and I added that new registration now open group, my thought was that I'd actually put it last, but looking at it here in this order, it's pretty good. I just want to move it a little bit closer. So to do that, we'll come back into group settings, do the group null for group 5, which is my last group here. Then I can take that. Oh, and I probably just want to put it here. I don't need to put it that much farther. I want at this point for the viewer to start looking ahead to putting the message together themselves. So I'm not too disappointed. That's not dig. They're pretty. There, so let's try it. Yeah, man, I'm pretty good. Maybe choose your own start time could be slower. Which registration a little closer. Moving this other, I'm gonna do. Trick is to just swap the group assignments. That up. Gotcha. Cool. Oh, I'll
My best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow. I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt a glow. The warmth inside
love it.
me kept me afloat. It felt like heaven. I found my body.
Pretty good to me. Happy about it. Be ahead to the next thing and then kind of see where it's going. I'll probably mute myself again for a little while because all I'm going to do is be dialing in depth of field settings and stuff like that. So kind of watch along and see me kind of get it. But if you're trying to recreate this, just kind of try to get it to your own eye. That's really about as well as anything. So your mileage, mate. We'll be goofing around with this for a little while longer and I'll check back in a little while.
My best friend to 23. I heard the heavens crying above me. The gain's an angel. I lost a friend. I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me through. Now you're gone, I'm alone. Guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall,
So as you try to, like, I'm looking here at some of these jittery kind of keyframes. When I come back in later, one thing you can do here, you can actually take a look at different view rather than being from the camera's perspective. You can look, say, from the top down. And if you're looking at the camera itself, you should be able to see. I can figure out how to. There's some keyframes basically where it's just jumping off to the side, and I'm trying to figure out, there is a way to do this. Or you can go back and look at the system's not totally cooperating with me. That's okay. But basically, you can go back and watch the track the motion path for each frame, and then you kind of pull out the ones where it jitters off to the side. At any rate, it's just like, that's a polished thing, not necessarily a Try Stuff Tuesdays thing. Try Stuff Tuesdays is all about proof of concept. So, food for thought. So just to see what's happening, if I try this another way, I'm reanalyzing the camera tracker data. I'm gonna use that to create a separate camera, which we can look at and see if that little smoother or what happens. It's gonna be fun to learn. We're learning.
my voice tomorrow, scream me your name. You, the best part of my life. I would never let you down. If I were better. All these demons in my head. Every day is scared.
I'm not quite sure why it's taking so much longer for the camera to be solved in this mode, although it makes me think maybe it's a good sign? I don't know. We'll see.
All these demons in my head. Every day is getting louder. Save me from myself. I can leave them. I can leave you. 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 Yeah, yeah.
Can I tell you that wanna be your light, falling, dancing down
Not sure why this camera is taking so long to solve. It doesn't. I'm gonna leave it here and take a break for another 5 minutes or so. And if it doesn't resolve by then, I'm probably just gonna switch back to the other. Like, do it cam version. But we'll be back at it in about 5 minutes.
I should go. Need to get one things together. Started another fight. Every time I be in your bed, when you call me, I won't know. I was drunk at the club all night. We're just a mess, but at least we're fine. Even if it's a little, we go back to back, babe. No direction to show us where we go. Oh no, how we're so far away. Call each other, baby. Always thinking about you, baby. So maybe I'm not meant for you. Can't go. Will you be there tonight? Hold me close, so close to happen again. They will know what we do to each other. It's so, so, so. I can't forget about you. You told me I should go. Need to get one things together. Started another fight. Every time I be in your bed, when you call me, I won't know. I was drunk at the club all night. We're just a mess, but at least we're fine. Even if it's a little, we go back to back, babe. No direction to show us where we go.
Hey, it looks like it seems to have worked. Let's take a look. Any different in the actual all the way. All the way.
do not understand almost nothing. You suddenly disappear, you just disappear. Tell me why you leave me, why you leave me. I do not understand almost nothing. Dices que ya nada importa, que ya nuestra historia llegó a su fin. Siento que he perdido el tiempo, pero no hay regreso, no hay regreso. Baby, just let me live my life. You guys are still wasting the time. I never expected this from you. Todo mi amor lo tuviste, pero tu amor no lo diste. Y ahora te vas sin decirme ni un adiós. You suddenly disappear, you just disappear. Tell me why you leave me, why you leave me. I do not understand almost nothing. You suddenly disappear, you just disappear. Tell me why you leave me, why you leave me. I do not understand almost nothing. Dices que ya nada importa, que ya nuestra historia llegó a su fin. Siento que he perdido el tiempo, pero no hay regreso, no hay regreso. Baby, just let me live my life. You guys are still wasting the time. Pero tu amor no lo diste. Y ahora te vas sin decirme ni un adiós.
Fuck is this? Bruh.
Alright, folks, I'm gonna take a break here from this stream and I'll be back with a part 2 probably later tonight. I'm gonna take a break to try to learn stuff. And when I know what I know, I'll be back to share it. You've been watching Try Stuff Tuesdays. We'll be back later and check out our Instagram. You'll see the finished product.